Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Soapbox Slam, where I get on my soapbox and I slam the things that I see going on. I made posts yesterday to talk about the State of the Union address that was last night, and of course the Republican rebuttal. And one thing I would say is that the root word of politics is to talk, right? I think that's the Latin or Greek root word of politics, right? And the politics is all about a political stage, and these are all actors putting on the best act to be statesmen, right? And I don't think anybody does it better better putting on an act than Joe Biden. I mean he's been doing it for 30-40 plus years. So yeah, I mean honestly more than 40 plus years. He's been doing it for 50 plus years. And nobody can do it better than I would say Joe Biden. Listen, I'm not a Democrat nor am I Republican, and quite frankly, I am disheartened by the political stage or the theater of politics in America. I reduce it to theater, political stage, and actors because that's what it is at this point. That's all these people are. And like I said, Joe Biden is a master actor on this political stage. There was a whole lot of fluff that was stated, and it was stated well. Joe Biden did a very good job of quote unquote rallying his base and saying all of the right things to inspire and garner support. And like I said, when it comes to politicking, talking the talk and being a statesman and being a great actor, I mean, he does a really, really, really good job of doing that. I mean, he is very masterful at that identity of statesman and being an actor on the political stage. The things that he talked about, I mean, he threw the entire book at the union as far as we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, I'm for this, I'm for that, give me this bill, give me that bill, and I'm gonna sign this and I'm gonna sign that. I mean, just anything and everything under the sun to garner support. And it's disheartening because you don't know what to trust. Now, on a analytical level, what I would say is what makes Joe Biden masterful at statesmanship and masterful at acting on the political stage and being an actor. There were several moments in his speech where, it's like putting somebody on the spot. You have the national cameras on, you have everybody watching and listening, news reporters, media, viewing public, and everybody in Congress. And he does this thing, which is very masterful, and it's a manipulation technique. And if you go back and watch, or you do watch it after we're talking about this, you can get it on some of the media platforms. He does this thing where he says something like, for example, he was like, and nobody's ever going to touch Social Security. My colleagues around the aisle, across the aisle, are going to raise the Social Security, and it's like, so what it is it's kind of a straw man argument, right? That's the technical critical thinking, legalese, rhetoric. You learn this in college. It's called a strong man logic or strong man argument. And what it does is it sets up a scenario. The scenario is set up. He did this a couple times in his speech. He sets up a scenario up like to the Republicans and for the public, where you're gonna touch Social Security and you're gonna raise the Social Security age, right? And the crowd, particularly the Republicans, start reacting, boo, no, da, da, da. And then he, by setting that up as the straw man, he knocks it down. He turns around and says, oh, you guys aren't going to touch that? Well, I thought that you guys made it very clear that that's was something you were going to mess with. So what he's doing is he's putting those statesmen on the spot, on a national level, on the public scene. He's putting them on the spot and cornering them into a position so that if they dare try to change or do something different than that, then it would be nationally known or very heavily criticized, because he set it up for them to say no, they're not going to do that in front of the entire world, and then if they turn around and do it, it would be essentially political suicide and show that their word is not valid. So these are techniques, argument techniques, politics used and political techniques that are used to corner people into doing things that you want them to do. And I brought that up to say, technically, there were a lot of things that Joe Biden did in his speech last night that were masterful, very, very masterful. He certainly played the game, or got on the theater stage and played the game very well. I had a hard time, I think he's disillusioned on a lot of things. I mean, I don't care what your metrics say about inflation. You, Joe Biden, and the Republicans and the Democrats, if you people think that the price of goods are going down, they are not. They are so high that we can barely survive. We are not prosperous. And whatever your metrics are saying, I don't know what numbers you're using to plug in your metrics, your statistics, your thing. I don't know what variables you're using to manipulate the reality that everyday people are dealing with, and it's delusional to me. And it's unfortunate that, again, you are a masterful speaker, you are a masterful statesman, but I do not see this great success that you see. You did say a lot of things, and there, to me, there is a lot of double talk in your speech where a lot cannot be trusted. I mean, you point out yourself, you come from a state where the most incorporation happens, and that's true. In Delaware, more incorporations happen than any other state combined. You absolutely know, enabled, and created your state, the very concept of corporations. And then by touting that, you suggested that corporations needed to pay more tax. And I do. I mean, rich people and corporations do need to pay more tax. When they pay on average 8%, and these are your numbers that you used in your speech, when you pay 8% and my ass is working 16 hours a day and can barely afford to live, and I am not prosperous, and I pay close to 28% in taxes, and you guys pay, and corporations pay 8%. Yeah, you guys should pay the exact same thing that we're paying. I don't give a fuck that you are a corporation. I don't give a fuck that you hire people. Trickle-down economics does not work. And this concept of trickle-down economics and everything else, all of this is all a farce. These are things that very fancy people created in their mind and theories and everything else in order to ruse the public on a lot of stuff that's going on. And Republicans and Democrats alike allowed this to run rampant, which has destroyed the middle class and lower class people. So, you know, as far as Joe Biden's performance, well done. You are a statesman. You are an actor, and politics is all about what you say and the act that you put on. And you definitely put on an act. You know, I have yet to hear Donald Trump put on an act on the stage in such a grand way. And it would be interesting to see what he says. Now, let me fast forward and say about the Republican rebuttal. This woman, Brits, I forget her first name. Last name is Brits, B-R-I-T-T, Brit. And she's from Alabama. Katie Britt, I think her name is. Katie Britt. She's from Alabama. She is a senator from Alabama, new senator from Alabama. I thought her performance was pathetic. She did this kind of false emotional tone in her voice where it was kind of like we I mean, this very breathy emotional tone. I mean, if there was any example of somebody acting to deliver a speech, this woman, Katie Britt, was obviously horribly bad acting. Bad acting as a stateswoman, bad acting as an actor, bad acting altogether on the political stage. This endearing, trying to embolden and passionate discussion that she tried to have was sad, piss poor, and pathetic. I mean, it was horrible. I mean, if anybody was suckered into her false almost tears discussion, I can tell you right now, that woman is an unbelievable Karen. That is a woman who will cry on cue. And she delivered her speech in a way where she was almost on the brink of tears in this very breathy kind of dissonance voice and everything else in her emboldened, impassioned rebuttal speech. Now, she painted a truer picture of the State of the Union, or the state of Americans, than I think Joe Biden painted. Obviously painted a very rosy, merry picture, and she painted something that was a lot more gloom. And I believe that Americans are more in gloom than they are in Joe Biden's world. And if people don't start seeing evidence of Joe Biden's world very quickly, I guarantee you that man will never see the presidency for 4 more years. So something's going to have to happen where everybody sees the world and bubble that he's living in, and this bubble that you rich people are living in. So a lot of us better start seeing that, because otherwise you will not win another term. And whatever happens, whether it's Donald Trump or a new party or something like that, whatever happens, I guarantee you rich people, if you do not fucking start realizing, you elitist people, you commentators, you people who think that everything is hunky-dory because you have all this money that you can spend and life is not affecting you the way it's affecting hard-working people who get up early in the morning and work 3 different shifts, or are part of the 3-shift low-class, middle-class people who are completely irrelevant to you fucking people. You know, until we start seeing something different, I guarantee you, nothing, y'all are not gonna maintain your status. You will not be, the Democrats will not be empowered. I promise you that. We better start seeing a lot of shit to really change. You better keep these gas prices back down. You better get the price of food down. You better get this shit down. That's the only way your asses are gonna ever stay in power. You can talk about all this shit, but until somebody sees that corporations have been taxed back up to 25%, and that rich people have been taxed up to 25%, and all the loopholes that make them only pay 8%, and people who work like me 16 hours to be not prosperous are paying 28%. Yeah, fuck you. So, this woman that tried to give this Republican address was pathetic. Her address was pathetic. She's more in tune of what's going on, and the Republicans might be more aware of how everyday people are definitely feeling. Absolutely. But this act, this complete see-through, horrible acting that this woman did. The last Republican address that I saw that was straight up on point was Sarah Huckabee. And the reason why Sarah Huckabee was straight on is because the bitch didn't, excuse me, I don't want to, let me take that out of my language. I'm giving you too much street talk here. That woman did not, she wasn't fake. She didn't put on an act. Sarah Huckabee just delivers it as it is. No major punchlines, whatever else. She just put it out there, and she is not a fake person. She is not fake at all. That woman who delivered her address last night is faker than fuck. And I mean fake as fuck. Fake. Whole address, fake. That was an unbelievably fake person. The Republicans did a horrible job of choosing who to have talk for the Republican rebuttal, because that woman was so see-through and transparent as to how fake she is. That woman is a Karen, an Alabama Karen. And her, I mean, this fake ass, breathy ass, endearing, trying to be endearing. Now, yes, the scenario, sitting in the kitchen and everything else, wonderful concept. Yeah, that was good. Again, all of this is theater. All of this is a political stage, and politics just means talk. These actors on the political stage are acting like statesmen. And I can tell you right now, that woman, the Republican choice for the rebuttal, was a horrible stateswoman. Now, I don't know what she's voted. I mean, maybe she votes in great ways. Maybe she doesn't. I don't know what her voting record is. What I do know is what I watched last night as far as her presentation to the people. And this fake ass woman, fake ass cry, fake ass endearing, loving kind of rebuttal speech was horrible. And it wasn't the words that were horrible. It was very hard for me to focus on the words because the way she delivered it was so pathetic. I mean, it's so hard for me to describe, but it was just this like when someone's crying and they're trying to talk while they're crying. I mean, it's whoever is coaching that, whoever did that, they steered it wrong, because what she delivered was disgusting. And unfortunately, the words were much more on target as to what American people are feeling, but her delivery turned me off, and it was very hard to pay attention to the words, because this pretend act was so bad and distracting that it misguides people from paying attention to what she's really trying to say and what the solutions are. Now, mind you, let me just point out, the Republican rebuttal did not offer any solutions. Please keep that in mind. The Republican rebuttal did not offer any solutions. It did not set forth a different agenda or a new platform or a different direction than where Joe Biden's dream is trying to take us. Joe Biden's in a bubble living a dream. Everything, I mean, he threw the entire world, everything at everybody and tried to convince them that he could get it done. I mean, a whole lot of political double talk and dreamy stuff. I mean, that's what Joe Biden did. But he lives in a bubble. He and these rich ass elitists, and that's why they call Democrats elitist. That is why they live in a bubble. They have no idea what it costs to live. They think that that's hunky-dory okay, and it's not. You buried the American public. Your bubble, the world you live in, is delusional. It's not realistic. And all you people who are co-signing and endorsing and waving the flag for the Democrats, you're in a bubble. What world are you fucking living in? But these Republicans are pathetic because they offer no different direction, offer no other solutions other than to try and tear down a different plan. And that's disgusting in itself as well. So the reason that I don't believe in any of these freaking idiots, these crooks, these absolute crooks, these pretenders, these fake ass people who are not there to serve you, or not there to serve your needs and your purpose as American people. Not there for that. They're there to be actors on a political stage and act like statesmen and act like stateswomen when they are pathetic. They're horrible actors, and they're horrible at doing their job, which is their job is to serve the American public. And they don't do that because they're too busy acting. They're too busy putting on a front. They're too busy getting ready for the stage and the pomp and circumstance and the spectacle and putting on their faces and putting on their makeup and all of that. That is what they're too busy doing. That they're not focusing on what it is that you and I need. And that is why I don't support both the Democrats or Republicans. Yes, I will vote because I have to, but I never vote for the incumbent. That's just my philosophy because there are no term limits. There are no anything to keep this shit in check. And so as a responsible American, and I believe I'm more American than a lot of people out there, that I have to take it upon myself to correct the shit as best as I can. And that's what I'm doing. So that's my soapbox. That's my take. Y'all have a wonderful day. Hey, do something kind for somebody today. Buy somebody a coffee, a random person a coffee if you're at the coffee store. Just buy someone else a coffee and give them a coffee if you go to Starbucks or whatever else. Do an act of kindness. One act of kindness begets another act of kindness, begets another act of kindness. Just one. You would be amazed. You do one nice thing for somebody else and they pass it on and they pass it on. It's amazing how many people would have had a nice thing done for them. And that's a beautiful thing. So I encourage you to do one act of kindness, right? I'm bringing donuts to the guys at work today. So, that's kind of my act of kindness, but I'll promise you this. If there's somebody at the donut store, I'm going to buy them some donuts too. Just as my act of kindness. Keep it going. Pay it on, right? Have a wonderful day, people.